Welcome, everyone. Welcome back to Unbearable Podcast, episode 14. Got a lot to talk about today.
I'm hyped up. I don't know about you guys. I'm hyped up.
Connor's hyped up. We'll go through some quick notes, play a little blame game. We got some stats for you. Numbers don't lie. Check the scoreboard. We'll forecast our future a little bit, talk some bullshit, and wrap it up. So I guess let's roll our sad-ass intro and just soak in it for a minute. So we just finished watching today's game, Vikings-Bears. Another heartbreaker, as expected. False hopes, as expected. A 27-24 defeat after a push for overtime, and it's crazy. The other team was able to kick a field goal to win the game.
Must be nice.
Yeah, Kyle, your thoughts? Just how you feeling right now?
Not good. Not good. We'll get into it later.
I feel good, Ryan. I do feel good.
That was awful.
Why do you feel?
Offense looked beautiful.
All right.
So
all right. I like it.
It's been a while since we potted, so let's recap on what we've missed out on so far. The Bears beat Jacksonville 35-16. That was a nice win. Everyone got hyped up. Then came the Hail Mary loss to the Commanders.
What happened there?
And then we lost 29-9 to the Cardinals. Lost 19-3 to the Patriots. Lost 20-19 to the Packers. Shane Waldron was fired. We cut Nate Davis. He played 3 years for $30 million.
Well, his contract.
His contract was 3 years for $30 million. He played 13 games. And we're paying him a remaining $3.9 million to not be on the team.
Mm-hmm.
We had some reports that Bajan's dad was falsely leaking the locker room that Caleb wanted to be benched, or the locker room wanted Caleb benched, which false. And Jaquan Brisker's on IR after a concussion that we thought would be 2 weeks. So everything's going really well.
And now add an overtime loss to the Vikings.
Just devastation through and through, week after week. I like the clip I shared with you guys earlier this week. I don't have any energy to care anymore.
Yep.
They really did. They really sucked it out of us.
They
really sucked it out of us. Do we just want to go into the next segment? Do we want to go into and then just do it, and then we'll just.
You don't even want to cover any of that, like.
I mean, what is there to cover there?
The biggest one is the Hail Mary to the Commanders. That was one of the most egregious play calling with 2 minutes left in the game. But
it was terrible. And to have your coach be like, oh, no, the play where they got 17 yards to get closer doesn't matter at all.
Yep.
No, it actually matters a great deal.
It makes it a lot easier to throw it into the end zone.
It matters a great deal.
Yards closer to the end zone, you fucking moron.
Yeah.
And again, going back to the Packers game, just kind of cherry picking here, the idea to just, you have 35 seconds on the clock, to not even bother to try to get another 10 or 15 yards to get closer. Like, no, let's just stay here, drain the clock, sit on our thumbs, and we'll just have him kick a 42-yarder.
And then you watch
he hasn't had good statistics of
the
beyond
Cardinals
that yard.
one was the halftime too, like right before half, where you just let Amari DiMercato run the ball right up your gut and just run it into the end zone. You were still in that game until that play happened, and then it was just like that sucked the life out of you. You were done.
I get it that he's getting put in all these last-minute situations where it's got to be snap, figure it out. But that's when you figure out that if you're a good head coach, then it's going to be those decisions that make the game. So that's when you need a good head coach.
So do we need to? Let's just go into the next segment.
Let's just go.
Toss it up, Ryan.
Let's toss it up,
right.
Ryan. I was trying to say.
Let's play a little blame game. So obviously it's just total devastation across the board forever and always since the beginning of time with the Bears. But the current state, who would you blame the most?
Player 11.
We forgot to introduce Nate.
Nate's on the mic with us today.
Yeah.
Welcome. Yeah. Bring that mic a little bit closer to you. Not that close. Split the difference.
It's making out with the microphone.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's good.
Player 11 special teams was extra special today.
Yeah, he dropped the ball multiple times.
Yeah, that fumble was giant.
The fumble was bad. I mean,
Yeah.
that was a really nice defensive stand with the Bears. They kick of the punt, and it just did it hit him or oh yeah, he called for a fair catch, then it hit his leg and it rolled.
Yeah.
It's just complete lack of awareness and terrible coaching all around, and that set up the Vikings to go 2 scores up, or was that 1 score up at the time?
1 score up. At the
It
time.
looked bad. Like, we walked in here.
Yeah.
It was a 2-touchdown game, and we were like, we're done. We're going to just start doing this. And then, they crawled their way back into it, but in typical Bears fashion, let's let you believe for 2 seconds, and then we'll just rip your heart out.
Yep, and that's what happened.
The only way that we can lose games now is just you either get your brakes blown off, or it's how can we figure out how to lose this game in a very sad way?
And it's always sad. It's always sad.
It's always sad. I mean, 19-3 to the Patriots was rough.
Yeah.
One of the worst teams in the
That's what I
NFL,
mean.
and you put
your
up
brakes blown
a
off,
field
or-
goal.
Yeah.
Oof.
I personally am going to put a lot of the blame on Mr. Eberflus. I'm really tired of his poor game management, especially when it comes down to those wire situations, and just the lack of ability to take accountability for his shitty play calls.
Ryan.
And like Kyle was talking about earlier,
What you just
when
said.
the penalties are not going your way, he just sits there and takes it. And you made a good point. Like,
Yell.
clearly there was some egregious calls, and the coach just stood there.
Yep.
Get in the fucking referee's face and make a statement.
Yep.
Set a
You see
precedent.
every other team doing it. You see
Yeah.
every other team doing that, where, like, if there's a bad call, your coach is, like, letting the referees know about it, not because of the fact that you think that play is going to get overturned, but, like, you know that you have somebody that's, like, somewhat behind your back, and, like, he's, like, in their ear knowing, like, hey, that you didn't call this right. So for future reference, and, like, when this happens again inevitably, like, maybe
Look
you
over
get that
here.
call the next time around or something like that. But, like, he just didn't do that. He's just the most apathetic, just, like, on the sideline. He's
I'm
just
here for
there
the day.
and exists.
Exactly. Yeah.
And, like, what is the difference between you having a headset and
Yep.
any other person having a headset at that point? If you're not going to go, like, do anything.
Yep.
I
I want to speak on behalf of what Ryan said on accountability. There has been not one press conference in this season. I believe all of us as Chicago Bears fans believe that the Chicago Bears should be a much better team than what their record says as of right now.
100%.
There has been not one single time in a post-conference presser that he says, I need to take responsibility for myself. He always blames it on other people. It's always just shove this onto somebody else. Never his fault. That's a terrible head coach. That's not how you're supposed to coach a team. Shouldn't be how it's ran. And it should be seen by the uppers. If I can see it, then the uppers can see it. So
You would hope.
Hopefully. I don't know.
Definition of collect a check.
Yeah, exactly. And I was talking to Carl a lot this week.
Shout out, Carl.
Shout out, Carl.
Shout out, Carl.
We were in Orlando for a week and had a lot of time where we actually watched the Bears game on an iPhone while we were setting up. But the whole thing that he brought up a good point is they're never going to get a coach that we want. And the reason being
They don't want to pay money.
Well, not just that, but they want a yes man. They want someone
Correct.
We'll get
that
into it.
will,
We'll get into it later. We'll
Yeah.
get into it later. We
You
will
know what I'm
get into
saying?
this later.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like,
this
they
is
don't
the
want
thing.
someone
Save it for
that's
the
going to
pod.
get in someone's
Very
face.
good.
Save it for the pod. My bad.
Yes, no, that's 100%. It's a giant issue that exists within this organization of when you can point the finger to anything, anybody, any place, anywhere
Yep.
you want. What's the one consistent issue? It's the McCaskies, and
Yep.
it is
Save it for the
ownership.
pod, dude.
That's the one consistent thing that you can, like, point back to of why do we keep falling in this
It
cycle?
makes no sense.
What is
Yeah.
this cycle? It's the cycle that Ryan Poles was brought in to break, that they're doing nothing but just perpetuating the cycle with.
Yep.
It's the same cycle, and what's the one constant? It's your ownership, and you're never going to get out of this unless you get rid of that ownership. Look at the Washington Commanders. Dan Snyder sucked. They got rid of him, and now the stink of him is gone, and like that actual organization looks like a competent football team again. And
Yeah,
They do.
exactly.
I don't know.
I
We're never
agree,
going to be doing the
100%.
same thing over and over
Exactly.
and over again
Exactly.
until
Getting your hopes
she's dead and until he or the
Well,
McCaskies figure out to sell the team and get rid of the team and just
The son's already taken over though, so he's already basically.
Well, how old is
the
he?
brother.
He's got to
He's
be
the
like
brother.
85 because she's what, 112?
She's 102. I think.
She's
like-
immortal. I think she's immortal.
Probably that's why we're cursed.
Deal with
Yeah.
the devil. Yeah.
She just
So
wanted
you know
to
what?
live
I take
forever.
back what I said earlier. A lot of the blame goes to top down. I think it is.
Yeah.
It is ownership. I'm blaming Eberflus, but the hire of Eberflus and the fact that he's staying there goes up. It goes up to the management. Yeah.
I'll take it. Guess who else I blame? I blame myself.
Oh, this is a
I
sneaky
blame
surprise.
myself for
This
falling
is a
for
sneaky
this.
surprise.
I am a clown for being
This is a sneaky
optimistic that
surprise. Look at
this
this.
team
Look at
could
this.
actually do something. I took the bait
Cheers, everyone.
on the media of like I blame the media for hyping up some of these things too, of like Shane Waldron being a good hire. Like everything that you heard out of like all of these other places was like Shane Waldron's a great hire.
Yeah,
Moron. That guy's a fucking moron.
yeah.
And so I blame myself. I am in fact a clown. I'm part of the problem, I think. I think I'm part of the problem is that we look at like who the Chicago Bears hire and we're like, yeah, this is a good hire at the time. And
Yeah.
it's not. It's
We
not.
drank the juice for sure.
I
mean-
was 100% drinking the Kool-Aid.
Go
Was
back.
100% drinking the Kool-Aid on this. I really genuinely thought that we were on the right track, and we're not. And I also, if I'm gonna play that game, I think Ryan Poles also needs to have some accountability for the fact that you brought back Matt Eberflus. You
Correct.
chose to bring him back.
I think he's the biggest one to blame.
See, I don't though, because
I don't.
I think on paper his job is to put together a roster
Now-
on paper, and this team on paper is decent. The only thing
What
that
does
I will
that mean?
say,
On paper doesn't mean shit.
I think it means that you like have put the guys out there that need to be out there, and then if you have a decent coach, you know how to use them, and you can play them, and you can win games with the guys that
Correct.
you have. But the thing I will say that is Ryan Poles' biggest flaw, and this could again be part of just Bears management in general,
Yeah,
is that he looked at offensive line and defensive line talent and thought, "Oh, I'm a former offensive lineman. Here's what I think like a good offensive lineman is." And you tried to find like the edgy, like what can I get undervalued at that position, and then like this guy could be decent and I don't have to pay him a ton of money. And so
and that's probably why he didn't play that much in the NFL. too.
Correct. And the one guy that you did pay turned out to not be a very good football
Correct.
player or give a shit about playing football.
I agree.
So that to me is my biggest Ryan Poles flaw. But I would say again, on paper, they're not a shitty football team. Like he did put together a decent football team. Your coaching staff just fucked up
Okay,
numerous
investments.
times.
but with that being said, that's like building. Like, I guess I can use a food pyramid as an example. You're not taking the base. You're going right up to the top that everybody looks at. So you're going for the wide receivers. You're going for the sexy names. You're going for the cornerbacks. You're going for the safeties rather than building it at the bottom where every single game in the NFL is won on the offensive and defensive line.
yeah.
So
But
if you
isn't the
don't,
food pyramid a
if-
scam?
it could be. Who knows? but I mean, like he's not building the franchise the right way. You need to start with head coaching.
But
That's how you build
when
it,
you say
and
that,
then
But when you say that, I also think that there's things that are available to you at the time that they are available. So it's not like you can just go and say, I'm going to go and get every good offensive lineman. I'm going to get every good
I'm
defensive
talking about
lineman.
head coaches
There's certain
right now.
opportunities that present themselves where I think he's taken advantage of those opportunities. That
I'm talking about head coaches right now.
Keenan
like-
Allen becomes available. You go and you like that opportunity presents itself. I understand that it's not the offensive line that you need to address at that moment. But if it becomes available and he sees the value in getting that,
I think
I can see that. I'm not exonerating Ryan Poles. I'm saying that he's not like flawed. There's definitely decisions that he's made that have been shitty decisions.
I think there's an ample amount of wide receivers. I think there's not an ample amount of offensive linemen and defensive linemen. Defensive line and offensive linemen should have been figured out first, but I'm talking about coaching.
But
wait, hold on. I'm talking about coaching. Going back to it, Jim Harbaugh was literally on the roster.
But again, I don't think that's a Ryan Poles decision. I think that's an upper management decision. I think it's an upper management decision.
It comes from Ryan Poles first.
It's fine. You can say it all you want, but they don't get to sign off on it. He doesn't get to if he wants to pick it and say it, that's fine.
I guarantee you he recommended it, and it came down to the fact that Harbaugh's
but
not
how do
a yes
we know
man.
that?
He's not going to listen to what they say. He doesn't want to do what they want him to do, so they're not going to even bother.
I guess then it's the McCaskies. I don't know.
That's what it is the McCaskies. And so we can sit here and bitch about a GM and a coach and a quarterback and anything all we want. It's always going to be the fucking McCaskies until they figure out that you can't run a vanilla franchise when you're in the NFL. You're a top 10 franchise of all time in the NFL, and you want to run it like it's just like a mom and pop shop, and it's not how it works.
Is that a dynastic legacy? Are those people, they've been around for a while, yeah?
Yeah.
So they probably don't know what's going on at this point.
No,
that's the thing. They're so clueless. They don't really
out of
understand.
Touch with it. They just inherited it, and we'll there's a thing
same
that
for
I
the
want.
pod.
The Vanderbilt said the same thing. I mean,
but yeah, I'm not 100%. I am not exonerating Ryan Poles. Your worries and your thoughts about Ryan Poles, I understand. I 100% get it now. If when you were starting this, you should have built it from the inside out, and he built it from the outside in. I think it's the way that they're trying to build it.
It's people that say that they're going to flip the cycle. So they're going to change the cycle, and then it's the same exact cycle.
It's the same exact cycle.
We need a defensive tackle.
We need a defensive tackle, Nathan. There we go.
I might get that tattooed on me.
But yeah, I agree with what you're saying as well. I'm not saying I disagree with you. I'm just saying that Ryan Poles was in here to specifically do that one thing of changing up the regime, changing up everything.
And it's the same cycle, so he failed at that.
Exactly.
It's the same cycle, and he failed at that. And the issue with that was that he chose to bring back Matt Eberflus to start this season when he should have hired a new head coach at the start of this season. If you wanted to break that cycle, you would have hired a new head coach and brought in a rookie quarterback at the same time. That was the way that you broke the cycle.
Exactly.
Not let me bring this former head coach into this season, have the rookie quarterback struggle, and then now we don't know who to point the finger at, and we're doing the same thing over again that we did with Matt Nagy, that we did Trestman, everything.
What's Lovie Smith up to these days?
Yeah, amen.
He's out of the NFL.
I would absolutely take Lovie Smith back on this team.
So would I. I mean, what he did for the Bears
Lovie
last year
is my
was
favorite
amazing.
Bears coach of all time, I think.
That we've seen,
I've seen,
Yeah. And there's, I don't know.
So, and we're talking about percentage of the blame pie, because obviously it goes around, like I said, Eberflus, you guys are saying Ryan Poles, we all say the McCaskies. I think another, just to throw another little percentage in there, is that special teams coach, because there's so many flubs on kick returns, on field goals being blocked, and these come down to game-defining plays where you're either missing out on 3 points or you're giving up 7, and when you're losing by 3 to 7 points, that's a major factor in why you're losing, why things are falling apart.
Now, to be fair, one of those catches that he made, I believe it was the end of the third, maybe a minute or 2 minutes left. He caught the ball and instantly got tackled. Hell of a play by that guy.
You talking about Carter?
Carter, yeah, hell of a play by him. Now, obviously, he did that one play where he should have been out, but that onside kick was phenomenal. And
I think that was pure luck. Because
that's
realistically,
what onside kicks are. That's literally what they are.
That's what it works. You can't coach luck. The ball did not go to the legal distance. It just so happened that some guy didn't notice where it was and it hit his shin.
Yeah,
and we got lucky.
But if we're gonna do that same legal thing, the Packers got away with a fucking penalty on leverage. It was a leverage penalty that they got away with that the Bears got called for in the Commanders game. It was the same exact play where there was leverage on the
Arizona
center.
Cardinals.
They're the Commanders. No,
Cardinals.
It was the Cardinals game. Yeah, you're right.
Should investigate
But
those refs.
there was leverage on the center on the snap.
They pushed
and
off of them.
That was a penalty, and it wasn't called. And I'm not gonna like make excuses for everything, but going to your point, if you are looking at like a coordinator and saying like this whole unit as a unit has had issues, the special teams has had issues, that's your head coach hiring people. Matt Eberflus. We had a whole offseason where you vetted and like it was looked at of like the Bears are doing an extensive search to get an offensive coordinator that can work with this rookie quarterback that they're going to bring in. And they looked at how many people, and that was what you brought in, and you were so sure of yourselves that this guy was the guy, Shane Waldron was the guy to bring in.
But the head coach he's not the one.
Yes, he is. You say this all the time. Your head coach is the one that...
No, he's not. The GM
your coordinators, no.
The GM is the one that hired the people.
No,
yes, he is.
Your GM hires the head coach.
100%.
No, it's not.
100%.
No, it
yes,
is not.
He is.
No, it is not. Your head coach brings in a regime of people. Do I think the GM also has a say in it? And the president, again?
Okay, hold on one second. Then you can't say that it's not Ryan Poles' fault and then go up to the McCaskies and say that it's something about the McCaskies. It's Ryan Poles' fault then, with our previous conversation that we just had. If it's not the
I did say that Ryan Poles' biggest issue was that he brought back Matt Eberflus. Shouldn't have brought back Matt Eberflus for this season. But Matt Eberflus was the one that brings in all of his fucking coordinators. Your head coach hires the people.
It says the owners hire the people.
Well, Google it. That's fine.
Jamie
I'm telling you right now that it's your head coach that hires its staff.
No, it's
yes,
dude,
it is. Your
it's the
GM does not. No,
yes,
your
he
GM
does.
does not. No, that does not. We will find this out later. But your GM does not bring in the entire staff. It is your head coach that sits there and gets his own guys that he brings in as his offensive coordinator, his defensive coordinator. Yes, it is. We'll find it out. I will show you. I'll go look up shit if I need to go and look up shit later. I will go and find you that. But that is exactly how that works.
They have recommendations for somebody to hire, but it's not.
No, it's not. It's your head coach that hires people. Is your head coach? I shouldn't say hires. It's your head coach that recommends people, like you said, that brings in.
And then the
people.
GM gets the final approval for it.
I'm sure it goes GM and then I'm sure it goes president. I'm sure that there's a chain of command that like signs off on shit, but it.
So why aren't we working off the ladder?
Because you would look at your head coach who brings in somebody, and then I think 99% of the time it's just them being like, "Yeah, this is who you're recommending as your offensive coordinator. All right, we'll sign off on it."
All right.
I don't think it's that like your GM doesn't go out and recruit your offensive coordinator or get an offensive coordinator. It's your head coach doing that.
I believe they do. I could be wrong. I believe they do. I don't know. It might be. I just think that a lot of the blame isn't getting put on Ryan Poles and it's getting put on Matt Eberflus.
When have I not said in this entire time?
I'm not saying that you have. I'm not saying that you have. I'm not. That's not. I've never said that.
I just again.
I'm saying that he's not. He shouldn't be getting the blame that you just put on Eberflus as well as Ryan Poles.
I think you're right. The GM does hire.
The GM, owner, and any of your higher ups will all collectively
I'm not going to look at the
agree
Google blurb at the top until I've actually read an article.
All right, here. You want me to pass it down? Here you go.
No, I'm not going to look at the Google
it's
blurb
fresh from
at
Reddit,
the top.
dude.
I will go.
It's
I
the
will.
GM.
It's the God's honest truth.
No,
right
it's
there.
not. It is not.
It's the GM, dude.
Your GM hires your head coach. That's sure. Your GM has to sign off on it, but your head coach is the one that actually goes and like gets the guys that they want on their staff.
So wait, whose fault is it for the uniforms?
That's a good question, Nick. That's
Who dresses them like the Wicked Witch of the East?
it's the uniform staffing. Are we good, Ray?
Yeah, we're good. I just
thought?
had to make a sound adjustment. If you're hearing a difference in mic audio on Kyle's mic, that's me. Sorry. Just did that. So the Hunt family is top 3 richest in the NFL. Would you guys be opposed to them buying the Bears?
No. Anybody else? I don't even know who the Hunt family is, but
Chiefs.
anybody
The
else.
tomato
Chiefs,
people?
yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, come on through.
Sounds great.
Just anyone.
You guys want to get into some stats and shit on those?
Yeah,
Sounds
let's do
good.
that.
So Kyle put together some sabermetrics, some stats.
Not a stats podcast.
No, we're not a stats podcast, but we all look at stats all the time, and we make bad opinions off of them. So, yeah, let's dive right into that because there's a lot to get to. So, Bears have scored 10 first quarter points all season. It is week 10.
I don't know if we should preface this with...
No, it's 17 because they scored 7 in the first quarter today.
Yeah,
okay, I was going to say, we should preface this with all of these stats were made prior to the Packers game. So that's 2 weeks ago. So that was when all of these were put out there. I don't know how accurate.
They did not score in the Packers game.
But still awful. Yeah, so they didn't do that in the
quarter.
Packers game. They did today, I think.
Yeah. They scored 7 in the first quarter because I was looking at box.
Okay, but still, 10 first quarter points, and you're in week 10.
Yep, it's
terrible.
It's awful. The first quarter is where you literally draw up all your plays beforehand. So you have a list of 25 plays that you draw up, and you have that set list that you're like, yeah, these are our dominant plays that we're going to go out and beat this team with. And we know that team's defense, and we're going to come out with this. And none of that worked.
Is the one...
Shane Waldron is a lot of accountability.
Which is the one weird thing about Luke Getsy. If you remember Luke Getsy, the previous offensive coordinator.
He would always score in the first. And
he could score on the first drive every time, but then made zero adjustments, and they would get their brakes blown off in the rest of the game. He was the opposite, I think, of Shane Waldron. Where
I agree.
He could draw a game plan for one drive.
Yeah.
And that was it. And then now a
very telling sign of that is the fact that we're fighting for our lives every time in the fourth quarter because it never gets done in the first quarter.
Which is a great stat for me at Matt Eberflus that you'll get to later about his record. In
Save it for the pod.
Save it for the pod, Kyle.
Why do we wait for that energy to come up in the fourth quarter?
That's the problem.
We waited for OT today.
Nate, you're preaching to the choir.
I don't even watch the NFL like that, but I could tell the energy was low.
But you watched the game today. You watched the game today, and you already get it.
Yeah,
this is our lives.
This is every week. We literally were watching it in overtime. We were like, they're gonna lose. They're gonna find a new way to disappoint you and lose this game.
Guys, I do want to admit
overtime loss. So that's a new.
I
want
to admit that I was the optimist here.
He
not
was.
The pessimist.
Connor was trying, but I think in the back of your head, you.
I was happy. I was happy what they did today.
You never yelled at the TV.
Never
they were
yelled.
down.
Yeah. That's my new rule, guys.
Never yell. 14 points.
Never yelling at the TV.
You are good about not yelling at the TV.
They were down 14 points. Connor's like, they got this, man. They got this. Yeah. And we're all like, sure.
Yeah, he was trying. He was trying to be a Bears fan.
Proud of you, Connor. Proud of you, Connor.
All right, next one.
Yep. Again, this is from 2 weeks ago, so I'd have to double look it up.
This is one of my favorite stats.
But it's I mean, yeah. So our punter has punted for 2,153 yards. Caleb Williams has thrown for 1,785 yards. And
had a great game today, though.
He did.
A lot of yards. So.
Caleb threw for like 320 today. I don't know what honestly, the numbers are probably closer now. But the problem is, at the beginning of the season, Caleb's like, "What's up, man? You're my new punter. You're never going to be punting, though." So
texted him and said, "You won't be."
Is that a bigger statement on the offensive line or the defensive line?
Offensive line, Nate.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you wouldn't punt it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah. That's the offense. That's the offense.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's probably more on the offense. But yeah, regardless. I mean, Caleb Williams, he's shown progression. That's all we need. I mean, he was put in a shitty situation, dude. He had a terrible, awful offensive coordinator. And that's the only thing that I can say about it.
Playing devil's advocate and playing the pessimist that you were at the beginning of the year, and probably rightfully so now.
Yeah.
The only thing that bothers me with that statement is that all offseason we talked about how there's been no rookie quarterback that's been coming into a better situation than what Caleb Williams is coming into. And so, like, we look at the situation now and we're like, oh, this situation isn't that good. And
I agree.
It's like, well, then what was it on paper?
I agree.
Well, it's because we thought higher of the offensive line. We had some belief in Shane Waldron. And, again, go ahead and put that on. We're fucking clowns.
Yeah.
Because we bought into the whole thing.
Not me. But but let's take a step behind that. So, like, that's in the past, right? So we know what happened, all right? He obviously had a great offensive talent around him. The most positive thing that you can take out of that situation would be he had this offensive talent, so he knows how to produce now with those type of players. And then eventually hopefully we can just sign somebody that's a no-namer and he'll be able to act the same way.
What do you mean by he? Who are you saying he?
Caleb Williams. Like he can throw the ball to somebody like Keenan Allen when he's off the team next year.
If we're talking about blame pie, when you go back to blame pie, I have no percentage. I shouldn't say no percentage. There's maybe like a 2% of the blame pie on Caleb Williams.
I would put it higher than 2%.
Really?
I would put it at like 35.
There's been times where he holds onto the ball. He holds onto the ball
holds
too
on
long
to the
at
ball
times,
way
but,
too long. But
that's
a big
not
issue.
every time. Also,
I know.
Part of the reason why you're holding onto the ball is because nobody's schemed open. There's
Correct.
nobody that's
I know.
open.
I'm not saying.
Would you rather him throw an interception?
Yes, I would. 100%.
I would not.
I
Because it gives the
100%
ball
would.
to the
I
other team.
100% would. Peyton Manning threw 28 interceptions his rookie year.
Yeah, that's not good.
At least he's trying. Well, he ended up being pretty fucking good.
There's
Not
a
that
difference
year.
between trying and like fucking over your team.
But
Throw the ball away when you are 10
who are
yards
we
behind
fucking
your
over?
line.
We're not going to win anything. We're not going to make the playoffs. Just fucking go for
You're
it.
trying to
Throw
win
it.
games. If you're a quarterback out there, you're still trying to win.
Okay, but
you don't want to try to win.
Just try to prove yourself something. Try to just at least have confidence. Like
But when
just go out
has he
there.
not shown that though? When you get him rolling, which I feel like again,
It's happened
which
recently.
is an Eberflus fault, which is a Shane Waldron issue. Ever since Thomas Brown has come in,
Yeah, I'm not
There's
saying you're
been-
wrong.
confidence.
I know. I'm just saying that it should have been from the get-go, let the man cook. If he throws the ball well, then
You got to get him going.
Then let him cook and let him throw the ball. If he throws an interception, okay, then we understand.
I understand. I get what you're saying. I genuinely do get what you're saying about the interception piece of just like letting him sling it.
Yeah.
But at that same time, you have to also have an offense that is schemed to the point where he's throwing that interception. It makes sense where there's like a play.
Yeah,
where he's
no,
going to
I
where
get that. I
don't
get that
think
as well.
in Waldron's system there was ever anybody that was open that like he felt like I can really like needle this into.
Yeah.
Where like these last 2 games you've seen
So-
him like there's been times where there's a needle throw where you're like holy shit that was a really good throw. But also could have probably been intercepted.
But
and,
today's a perfect example. There
Yeah,
had to have
that's
been
what I
at least
mean.
3 passes. But
But they're letting
I
him
don't
do
think
that now.
exactly. Now he's
yeah. So that's coaching.
exactly what I mean.
That's not on Caleb. That's
That's fair.
coaching.
That's fair.
They're just letting him do
Yeah,
him and, like, beat him,
he's
throw
being
the
the
ball,
person
and-
that he should be.
get it down.
And-
All right,
and
next stat.
he-
You want to go next stat because we got lots.
Shane Waldron is the third coordinator Eberflus has parted with in 2.5 seasons. Over the last 15 months alone, 10 of Eberflus's assistants have departed, including 8 via either resignation or dismissal.
And you
Diddy.
can add another one to that because that was before Shane Waldron, or no?
No.
that was
you-
Waldron.
yeah,
That's
Waldron.
Waldron's start of that.
That's
It
when I
literally
started the
says
sentence
Waldron.
with, yeah. It's been a long day, guys.
Yeah, dude, I just don't like Eberflus.
I was never a big fan.
No, Ryan, I will 100% agree with that. Ryan never was on board with it. I tried to talk myself into it for
Me
a
too.
while. They were like,
It was because of the defense, is why. I tried
and it
to
was
talk
because
myself.
of the defense, and it was because of the fact that they weren't penalized. Like they didn't get penalties before, and
Yeah.
now they're getting penalties left and right. And so it's like, what are you actually coaching?
With
and what are
that
you
being
doing?
said, can I ask a question?
Yeah,
Who would you rather have right now on this team, Matt Nagy or Matt Eberflus?
coaching this team.
Yeah,
Matt Nagy.
Honestly.
me too.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Me too, 100%.
And that takes a lot to say because
Yeah.
I did not like that guy.
Yeah, Matt
But
Nagy.
he
can
went
suck
12
my
and
Nagy.
4 one year. I mean,
Yeah.
he had winning seasons.
And I'll say that Eberflus kept the locker room together last year. Like there
Yeah,
was
sure.
like some camaraderie, but I think that one of the pieces of
Rom
that
comedy.
was rom comedy. You brought in Montez Sweat at this point last year, and I think that's what rejuvenated them. Was like they had
100%.
like
Yeah,
something
it
that like
definitely was.
uplifted and like changed the locker room.
But they
and,
need
like,
to do
felt
that
like
this
they're
year.
Trying.
It hasn't
There's
happened.
nothing. There's nothing that you can do this year that's going to do that. I don't think. And I just.
You can make moves.
You
can always make
you
moves.
got a sick beard, you got a cool haircut over in the off season.
Yeah.
I think that's another thing that I blame is that I
Yeah.
watched Hard Knocks in the off season, and that was part of the Kool-Aid. That was like more of the Kool-Aid that I was
fair.
drinking was watching that and being like, I think things are different this time
Yeah.
around, and they were not. And he is not.
I mean-
Eberflus is no different than then Matt Nagy, then Mark Trestman, and it sucks. Next stat.
Yeah, next step.
Since 2022, Eberflus is
This is one of my
0-17 on road games on Sunday.
Yeah.
Last road game was
Woof.
December 22nd, 2007, or no,
2007.
December, no, 22nd,
It
2000.
feels like 2007.
22
I don't
against
know.
the Packers. Or no, against
No,
the
we don't
Minnesota
beat the
Vikings.
Packers.
Against
No.
the Vikings. I don't know.
I walked out with guys from work the other day and literally talked about there's a whole generation of kids that have never seen the Bears beat the Packers. And it's 2018 was the last time that the Bears beat the Packers.
Yeah.
It was 2018. 2018.
Pre-pandemic.
You cannot beat your rival.
2 years before, yeah.
Rival. It's you have a head coach that has never lost to this franchise, this organization,
Yeah.
and you. Sorry, man. I'm sorry.
It's all right. I just see red over there. And
It's
push it
just
back a little.
it's hard. It's just hard. You have, like there's kids that like 2018. If you were born,
It's difficult. I don't know. Like you can't.
Is Sunday
but-
Shomer Shabbos?
Can you guys understand like why I said what I said in the
I get it.
preseason?
I'm getting it now, and I'm getting
Okay.
it now, and I think they've sucked the fucking optimist out of me.
Okay,
That
all right.
I'm getting more on your level of
Words.
I will not
Until they-
trust them until some things are changed. And
Exactly.
there's really the biggest systemic thing that you can look at is what is the issue with all of these things. It's the McCaskies. It doesn't matter, again, who you bring in. If a cycle is a cycle,
Yeah.
after like 3 times that you've done this, look higher. And the only other thing that is higher than that is the McCaskies. And we'll talk about, I think, in a little bit, why that is an issue.
Can I ask another quick question?
Absolutely.
Roma Dunze, would you go with a guard or tackle instead of him?
No, I
I
still
like
think-
Rome.
I still think
They
I
don't
would
use
take
them
Roma Dunze.
the way that
Yeah.
they
But
should.
But that's what I mean. If
Yeah.
you're not
You
using
can
him,
do the
then why would you pick
revisionist.
him?
That's a future
Okay.
pod.
All right,
is
all right, all right,
revisionist
all right.
history.
Save it for the pod,
All right,
Connor.
all right.
Damn.
Save it for the pod.
Save it for the pod.
Save it for the pod. All right, next stat.
That's a really bad one.
Yeah.
Can I go back
Terrible
real quick?
stat line.
0-17 in
Is
road games.
ridiculous.
Has not won a
On
game on
Sunday.
Sunday. Has not won a road game on Sunday.
2020
Ever since he has been head coach.
That alone is a fireable offense. Moving
should
on.
be. Should have been last
But you
year.
brought him back.
Ooh, I like this one a lot. I
Yeah,
saw this
I
a few
don't,
times.
Ryan, I don't.
I mean, I don't like it, but Matt Eberflus has blown 5 games where he had a 90% chance, 90% or higher win probability in his 3 years of tenure as head coach. The Bears are 5-17 in one-score games under Eberflus.
You can add that
Wow.
5-18 now.
5-18.
yeah.
Yep.
Or I'm sorry, 5 and probably 19 because I think that was put in.
Oh yeah. This
That
is,
would be the Packers game
these
and the
pretty-
Vikings game, and those were one-score games. So you could.
And
probably
I
make
bet
that
you
5 and 19.
90% or higher. That was probably a 99% win percentage against the Packers when you had the field goal ready to rock. Well, it would have been if you fucking moved up another 20 yards, you dipshit.
Not 20. All we needed was 5 more yards.
Yeah, take 5, take 10. You have 30 seconds at a
You
time.
want? Let's talk about that situation. You want to talk about that situation?
If you want to, we can.
Do it.
God, he bothers me.
So stupid. So stupid. Just
I've
go
been
for
playing
it.
Madden since I was a little kid, okay?
Madden.
I've been watching football, I've been playing Madden, and even I know in that situation that what he's doing is a boneheaded move. And what confirms it is every other news person out there, every other pundit is like, what the fuck is this guy doing?
So it goes back to the original statement that I made in the beginning of the podcast that he did not take any account. He didn't say that it was his fault for doing anything.
That's my biggest issue with him. Yeah, you're right.
And then I guess we could save it for later, but
Save it
the
for the
kicker
pod, yeah.
is
Save for the pod.
save for the pod. But the kicker had a better chance from 5 yards above that than he had from 5 yards less than that. So, and not only that, I guarantee you'll mention it as well. All you had to do was just move to the left hash or right hash where Cairo Santos is way better at kicking a field goal.
That's my only thing that I would say is that I get what he's saying about running the ball up the middle, where the entire defense is dialing in on you, knowing that you're going to try to run the ball up, so you're not going to gash them for a bunch of yards or anything like that. But at least, the very least that you could do is move the ball to the hash that Cairo Santos prefers to kick from, that he has always preferred to kick from.
It always seems like there's timeouts used when timeouts don't need to be used, and then timeouts are not used
or
when
dunk
timeouts
challenges,
should be used.
Stuff like that.
Seriously.
He's not a good coach. Like not. This is no secret. He's not a good coach.
The proof is in the pudding. All you have to do is watch the games. Like that's it. It's not
It's
like
just
we're
study
making
football or
fallacies.
something. I don't know.
No.
I'm not saying I could go in and coach the Bears better than
Yeah,
him. But
exactly.
I can play a Madden game with more intelligence than he
Yeah.
can run a Bears game, and that's a fucking problem.
Yeah,
But I think another thing that you've talked about for years, when I was still trying to like get hyped up about Matt Eberflus, when you have a head coach, it's a lot like the president doesn't really do that much. It's just like a person that like kind of like fucking
Sports podcast.
oversees everything.
Yeah.
But you want like a leader of men.
Yeah.
That's what Dan Campbell is great at. That's
Yeah,
what like
correct.
Andy Reid
Yeah.
is great at.
Correct.
And that's what you want out of your head coach is you want somebody to like if your
Correct.
back's against the wall, you like want somebody that's going to motivate you, get you hyped up. He is never going to be that kind of person.
I wouldn't
You won't.
follow that guy into a Portillo's.
Again, the ketchup is spicy thing, like those were
Yeah.
jokes, and like those are real things that like you're not getting that out of this guy, and
No.
I don't know.
It's tough. It's tough. That's all I can
But-
say.
but
It's he doesn't know. I don't think he knows how to. Like he knows how to control a locker room, so he knows how to, like player personnel. But when it comes to his own staffing personnel, I don't think he has that same communication as an Andy Reid, as a Bill Belichick, as a like Mike Tomlin.
Do you mean
as-
like when like somebody's doing something wrong to like correct them?
Yes, correct. Yes.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. Where he just lets people do what they want
Yep.
to do, and like
Yeah.
even if it's not working, he doesn't
Yeah.
know to be like, hey, this isn't working. We're gonna change this, and we're gonna do this.
And then Shane Waldron's
yeah.
probably like, "This is how I run my fucking offense," and then he's probably like, "Okay, sorry,
Yeah, right,
sorry,
right.
Yeah,
oh, I'm
right.
so
That's,
sorry."
that's very accurate. Very accurate.
All right. This is another fun one. The worst sack taken per pass attempt percentage of QBs with 250 plus pass attempts in a season in the
Trubisky
last
should be on
15
here,
years.
too.
Let me finish.
can't put
Let me
him on
finish.
there.
Let
No,
me
I know.
finish.
These are just the stats.
Sorry.
Worst sack taken per pass attempt percentage of QBs with 250 plus pass attempts in a season in the last 15 years. So this is 2022. Fields 17% of his. I'm reading this correct. 17% of his
Per
dropbacks
pass. Yes.
were
Yes.
sacks.
Yep.
2021 Fields 13% of his dropbacks were sacks. 2024 Caleb Williams essentially 13% of his dropbacks are sacks.
This was also before the Packers game, so
which
Shane
they had
Waldron was
9
still your
sacks
coach.
in that one.
No, that was the Patriots game was the one. That
Oh,
they
9
had
sacks in the Patriots. Okay.
The 9 sacks in that game. So yeah, this is right. This stat is right after that
Yeah.
Patriots game. I think is what that kind of fueled. But ever since then, I feel like he's not taking as many dumb sacks. There's still the one you do get your 1 or 2 a game. I feel like where he's held on the ball a little bit
Yeah.
too long. But again, you sir,
Okay.
sir, I'm
All
gonna
right.
give you a moment.
Give me a clown noise. Nose.
No, I don't need it. I'm not giving that to you. But you are also part of the cycle. You hated Mitch Trubisky, and then you hated Justin Fields, and then you wanted to give us all of the stats about how Mitch Trubisky was better than Justin Fields, and then now it's about how Justin Fields is better than Caleb Williams, and you wanted to do this. So you as a fan are also part of the Bears
Put
cycle.
that clown nose on him.
Yeah,
I mean-
take it.
All right.
Fucking asshole.
Go ahead, Connor.
Hello.
Let's hear it. Explain yourself.
I just look through season progression, and then I see who has the better season. So out of Justin Fields at the end of the season, yeah, he had a great season. So in 2021, no, he didn't have a great season. In 2022, yeah, at the end of the season during that long run, I know you're going to bring up the fucking Packers game.
Him so much.
I know you're going to bring up the Packers game, but it doesn't matter. He was still progressing, and that's what we want to see out of Caleb Williams. That's what you want to see out of any player that you have.
All right. All I'm saying is that I just don't want to hear you complain about Caleb Williams. Then
I haven't been.
Good.
Have I
That's
been?
all.
Well,
no, I
I
don't.
didn't today.
I think you've been. No,
I think
not
I've
today.
No,
Not today.
I think you've been pretty.
Because
pretty
he's been
pro
progressing.
Caleb Williams,
He's been progressing. That's literally what I said during the game.
But that's all that I want to hear. Then is because it was a cycle, and
I
you're
know
part of that Bears
but
cycle.
at the first start of it, yeah, I'm gonna. I said the same shit about Caleb when he first started. His passes were overthrown, passes were underthrown.
You can't tell me that the way that he throws the ball is substantially different than Justin Fields.
Now it is. Yes, it is.
So can I bring up a stat real quick? What is 13% of 40? Can someone do that for me? Because I don't have my phone.
13% of 40? You think I can do
Yeah.
that shit in my head? Ryan, we're in Paul Kim's remedial math class.
I understand. That's what I'm asking.
42.
That would be not correct. 13%
78.
of 40.
5.2.
5.2. Okay, so a good game would be 30 of 40 passes completed, right? Roughly, let's say.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I don't know where you're
That's
going with
that's
this.
a pretty good. Hear me out.
Yeah, that's
so
what
it's
I'm
a pretty
saying.
good
I don't know where you're
pass.
going with this, because you could have like a low
Pass
percentage,
completion, right?
but like high yardage, high touchdown.
Right.
There's a lot of
so
other variables.
30 of 40. Yeah, exactly. 30 of your 40 passes were completed. At least 5 of those, 10 incompletions. Well, I guess you wouldn't be throwing. So, never mind.
And that's Ryan going off the
Shout out to
script.
Paul Kim.
Ryan tried to do math.
Oh, man. I'll never
love to
be.
hear
it. That
I
was
will
good.
never
We
be.
love to
That
hear
was
it.
good. That was good. All right.
You get the idea, though,
Yeah,
right? Like,
yeah,
you
next
get
stat.
sacked 5 times is kind of okay.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he's holding on to the ball at times, but I also think it's
Yeah.
because schematically there was not a lot of people open,
Yeah.
and it was a stupid scheme that was being run. And again, part of that is on him, part of that is on the play calling. I don't think you get this bad as an organization with just pointing the finger at one person.
Right.
There's multiple issues that have existed with this.
You're going to read this article after this stat, right? So only 6 of Hallis's 40 teams finished below the 500 mark and won 6 NFL titles. The Bears are 86 and 120 in George McCaskey's 12 seasons as chairman. Ugh.
Yeah, but Hollis was like his first generation immigrant to come to America and also played for the the MLB before he got into the NFL. So like
Really?
he has
George
that
Hallis
true?
played in
Is
the
that true?
MLB?
Is that
yeah,
true?
he played for the New York
Yes, he
Yankees.
did.
I just googled it a minute
No,
ago.
he actually did.
You said he didn't?
No, he did.
No, yeah. Like so he has a sports background and he has that immigrant parents status to like get the ball rolling. Whereas the McCaskies were like they grew up in this
Right.
shit.
Yeah.
Right, that's
Like,
the issue. That's the
dynastic
issue
legacy.
that's the issue that you're talking about here, is that we had somebody that was an owner that had a sports background and understood sports, and now we have
Dipshits.
a bunch of fucking morons that are running.
A bunch of
Moron.
rich people.
All right, you want me to read this article?
Billionaires.
Because there's this guy, and I told Connor about this, and I like started reading it, didn't read the whole thing, but it's kind of funny because it is from 1993. Mike Royko, I think was Royko.
Some ESPN writer.
Kind of had some pessimistic, I shouldn't say, or just honest, I guess we can call it at this point. Some opinions about the Bears, but this is in 1993 after the Bears had fired Mike Ditka. This was an article that he had written after the Bears had fired Mike Ditka. What a disappointment. Was that really Mike Ditka with the tears in his eyes and a lump in his throat, acting like a guy who has just been given a pension and an engraved watch for loyal service to his company? I'm sorry, but as someone who has admired Ditka since the days of George Halas, most fearless player, I don't want to rate this exit speech as one of his better moments. What should he have said? Let's give it a try. I have good news and I have bad news. The bad news is that I've just been fired by this weenie. The good news is that I don't have to work for this weenie anymore. You have just heard that this weenie say that you have just heard the weenie say that he wants to make a fresh start with fresh ideas, that from a Yale bookkeeper who knows as much about football as I know about ballet. I'll tell you why I was fired. It's very simple. He's an Ivy League stiff, and I'm not an Ivy League stiff. He does not drink, swear, or raise his squeaky voice in anger. I drink, I swear, and I sometimes bellow like a crazed bull, especially when people throw dumb interceptions. So he wants to hire a coach who will stand on the sideline like someone perusing paintings at the Art Institute. Hey, that's a war out there, not a cricket match. I suppose you want to know how I feel about being fired, so I'll tell you. Yeah, it hurts, but what makes it even more painful is the humiliation of being fired by the kind of cupcake. Not to brag, but let me remind you how I got to be the coach of the Bears. As a mere lad, I knocked opponents on their asses in high school. That learned me a lot, earned me a scholarship to college where I knocked more people on their asses. That made me an All-American, so I went to work with George Halas, and I knocked people on their asses while catching passes, and won an NFL championship. Then I learned the coaching by trade by working with a low-pay, long hours assistant coach in Dallas. Finally, I got a shot at being a head coach, and once again, not to brag, but I put together some pretty good seasons. Check it out. There's a lot of coaches still working who haven't done half as good. And that wasn't easy. With the cheap bookkeeper here biting nickels, pinching the dimes on players' salaries. Now let's consider how the weenie got to be in the position to fire me. Did he build teams from nothing? One of the most valuable franchises in football? Nah. That was his grandfather, George Halas, the guy who hired me because he was tough, mean son of a bitch, and he liked me because I was tough, mean son of a bitch. This Twinkie is in a position to fire me only because the old man died and the Twinkie and his family inherited the franchise, which is a very nice way to succeed in life. You go to an Ivy League college, become a glorified bookkeeper, then George croaks, and suddenly you become rich and powerful. That's neat. That's neat work if you can get it. Unfortunately, most of us... Is this too long? Is this the...
No, you're good.
All right.
Let's wrap it up.
All right. All right. But essentially what it is him just talking about, like, the fact that in 1992, you called your shot and saying all the Hallases are ever going to want to, I shouldn't say the Hallases, the McCaskies are going to want to do is hire people that are stiffs, weenies.
Yes men.
Yes men, and aren't bigger personalities than the franchise. Is essentially what that whole
would it have helped if the McCaskies got into the NFL and played for a couple of years before they just inherited the team?
Yeah, put Virginia in.
Yeah.
Do you think that's like risking CTE to be able to
I think we should do it
your team
next week? Throw Virginia in at running back.
I want all of the McCaskies out of that building.
Tell you which McCaskey's in charge right now?
It starts with J.
George.
I guarantee you,
J.
I would beat him 10
Same
out of
thing.
10 times on Madden.
That's fair.
I'm serious.
I don't think he understands
Hey,
how
George.
football is actually played. You know
George,
he lives in Sycamore? Lives in Sycamore.
Oh, really?
George, I know you're listening to this podcast. Get your ass over here. Let's run a Madden tournament. I guarantee you that all of us will fuck you up in Madden.
If you lose, we get
Sell
to
the team.
Yeah,
You
sell the team.
You sell the team.
I don't want to take it over because that's a lot of
Because
work.
I know you're listening. We're the #1 sports podcast.
I'm just saying,
in
we've
America
seen you at
right
Weenie
now,
Hut
so-
Juniors.
Oh, what a
Weenie
weenie.
Hunt Juniors.
Sorry, guys. I thought that article would be a lot
No, it's-
cooler to read than it was.
I got it.
No,
It was good. It was good. Last stat before we wrap up here.
It's
This
bad.
is not just a Bears stat, it's a Chicago stat. We are the city of
This
chumps.
one's tough.
The Bears are now 4-7. We are dead last in the division that we were supposed to take back and never give back.
Yeah. Shout out Ryan Poles.
Yep. Bulls are 7-11, middle of the division, 8th in the East, middle of the division, but suck.
No, but
We'll see.
I think the whole division sucks. That's why I put that on there. Was
okay.
that the Bucks are somehow like behind them, but they lost to the Bucks, so
Yeah,
it's
they're
very
still-
early in the
Because it's high
season.
school
The Bulls
football.
are still going to suck,
Yeah,
no matter what.
They're yeah.
Yeah.
Blackhawks 7-12
Sycamore.
and 2,
Shout out
last in the
Hawks.
division. Also, I learned that the ties, it's not like it's not tying a game or something.
When you say the ties, are you talking about like people from
Like-
Thailand?
Yeah, it's 7-12 and 2, but the 2 is not like OT or something. I don't know. I don't watch hockey.
What?
Cubs are 83. They were 83 and
Nailed
79. Second division, same record for the last 2 years. White Sox, the historically the worst season ever. 41 and 121. Sky, what did they play?
Those
I'm kidding.
I'm just here for the
For as
food.
much as we wanted to
Joking.
talk about the Chicago Sky and Angel Reese and everything, they were still dead ass last in the conference.
Yep.
So,
Here's what I would say. We become a Chicago Wolves podcast.
Wolves?
Chicago Wolves.
Why not the Cougars?
Fuck the Cougars.
They're right here.
Technically
Kane County
not.
Cougars are right here.
Technically not Chicago based though.
Kane County, dude.
Didn't Bill Murray just buy the Cougars?
Did he?
Did he really?
I'm pretty sure.
Oh.
Jamie looked that
Or
up.
the
real
Joliet
quick.
Slammers or something like that.
Jamie, look that up.
Oh, the Slammers.
There's one
Jamie,
of the two.
look that up. Yeah.
Jamie, go ahead and pull it up.
He bought the Slammers.
Cut to a clip.
Yeah, we're just historically bad.
As long as we don't have to go to Schaumburg for the Schaumburg, what are they? The Flyers? The Schaumburg
Schaumburg.
Flyers?
Yeah.
So
Schaumburg,
let's
send to a game.
Slammers.
talk about
Hey,
the
fuck
rest of the
Schaumburg,
season.
just so everyone
Let-
knows.
Whoa.
Let's talk.
If anybody lives in Schaumburg, fuck them.
Shots
Let's-
fired. Shout out the Schaumburg Improv.
Let the man cook.
Let's talk about the expectations for the rest of the season. We are more than halfway through. That today was game 12. Is it week 12?
Yep. You're
Okay,
right.
so we have 4 or 5 weeks left, and it's a fucking gauntlet of teams. We got Lions on Thursday.
Schedule in the NFL.
We Lions on Thursday. That's going to be an absolute ass whooping.
Yeah.
What do we expect to see the rest of the season?
you
I
want-
see nothing but L's.
Is that
Do you,
game
do you want
home?
me to take this?
I think
Yeah,
it's.
you
I think
can
it's a
take
Detroit.
This. You can take this as
So, as predicted in the future podcast and podcast number 2 or 3, I believe, no
had
more
time to go back
wins.
and listen.
No more wins for the rest of the season,
It's going to be a cold and rainy day in
which is
Detroit on
unfortunate.
Thursday.
But there
It's a
will
dome.
not be another win. If
Yeah.
we can just keep Caleb Williams happy, satisfied, and build his confidence, that's all I'm looking for. at the
That's
end
really
of the
all I want to see the rest
Yep.
of the season, because if there's anybody that's going to stay, it's going to be Caleb Williams.
And Jalen Johnson. Sorry, we need to keep Jalen Johnson and Caleb Williams. Jalen Johnson is the best cornerback in the NFL.
He's very,
Which
very
he's
good.
locked down. There's one of Ryan Poles' good moves.
Yeah,
Is-
exactly.
Yep.
But we need a
Brought him
defensive
back.
tackle.
We also
do.
need a defensive tackle so fucking
We
bad,
do.
Nathan. We need
do
one
need a
so
defensive
bad.
tackle. Yeah.
Yeah. I see.
If only somebody was saying it from the preseason, but
We had
see-
one. Andrew Billings is hurt, and they were playing fine with Andrew Billings.
But you need two.
need more than one.
And I just see, like you said, Connor. I see nothing but L's. I see nothing but disappointment. I don't even know if I see close games.
And being the optimist in this situation, I'm gonna say I love that because that just increases our fucking drafts, and it's gonna make our draft capital a little bit higher.
That's
Sure.
That's
And-
my thing. I actually think that all of the games are going to be close. I think we'll keep them close, but I'm hoping to lose all of those games because I do not want a situation where they go on a run and you somehow like justify bringing Matt Eberflus back
Yes,
as coach.
also that,
And then
yes.
that's how they're going
I
to
agree.
say we broke the cycle. Is we kept him. We didn't fire him.
He's
we
back
kept
again.
him. Yeah, right. And
Yeah.
that's my biggest fear is that they like go on a run and win some games and everything. I don't see them winning a shit ton of games, but I do think that they will keep them close. I don't think you're gonna get the Thanksgiving game. I think they're going to be frisky. I think they know, like, you're not playing for fucking anything anymore. Like, at this point, you're just, like, going out there and
Dude,
you're
the
just,
Lions
like, trying
are
to beat
blowing people out.
Oh, dude, I understand that. And I
think Jalen Johnson's going to be a dog in that game. I don't think Amon St. Brown gets over 50 yards.
They're not a bad team on paper. That's what fucking pisses me off.
Yeah,
is
I
that if
know.
you had the right coach with this team, they could win games. I'm not saying they're Super Bowl ready. They still need stuff on this team, and that's what I would like them to do is lose more games, but be competitive and see Caleb Williams grow a little bit.
Yep.
And then you get a higher
as long
draft
as they're
pick,
putting up points. Like
and then we'll do this later in a different pod, but I think you and I have both said this. In the offseason, everything needs to be on both sides of the trenches. It needs to be offensive line, defensive line, everything.
Everything should be drafted.
Everything,
Offensive
every draft
tackle,
pick,
defensive tackle.
every draft pick, every signing.
But save it for
the
pod.
But there's like I know that like people are talking about like Trey Smith from the Chiefs.
Yeah.
They're talking about that as a Bears signing in the offseason, but we'll do the offseason shit later on.
Yeah.
We need that first quarter energy.
Yeah.
We need to keep it through the game and not show up in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Be nice.
Don't
Defensive
need to
tackles.
put yourself in those positions to like need that energy in the fourth quarter. You shouldn't have that.
Hey, speaking of defensive linemen, remember when you said Danielle Hunter wasn't going to be good? Danielle from you guys wasn't going to be a good signing?
He looks really good.
That
I
guy's
didn't say it was going to be a good signing.
That guy's a fucking dog.
Yeah, I never said it was going to be a good signing.
He's got some sick moves.
Fucking dog.
Some nice highlight reels. I don't know that he'd be good on this team, though.
I think they also
What do you mean?
maybe lost to the Tennessee Titans today. So I don't think that team is like elite.
I mean, I'm not saying it's all up to him, but
All right, but
let's
good.
talk some bullshit. We are, after all, a
Who plays
Bears
for the
and
Bulls?
Bulls podcast. However,
Michael Jordan.
we are not able to watch any Bulls games, so my entire Bulls experience right now is watching highlights on Instagram.
or one game. I could watch one game. It was the ESPN game against the Bucks.
The Milwaukee
So
Bucks.
The Bulls played the Bucks, and that was the one time that I could actually watch the Bulls.
And I will go into somebody very deep if you want me to right now.
What?
Do it.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Vucevic sucks. Get this man off the fucking team. I don't care if we take his contract. Get that guy off the court. I don't know why this man is still playing basketball.
I think him and Zach LaVine right now are just playing and auditioning for the trade deadline. I think that they are trying to get them ready to be auditioned and everything, get their numbers up, trade them at the trade deadline.
I showed Kyle a clip of Brook Lopez versus the Bulls, and Vucevic was going up for a rebound. One of the most pathetic rebounds that I've ever seen in my life. Brook Lopez didn't even jump. Vucevic is just like out of the picture, and he's trying to jump, but he's jumping forward, so you can't even get the ball. And it didn't even jump. Brook Lopez gets the ball, scores it. I think it was like a 4-point game at that time. Then it turns
They
into
got
a
blown
16.
out by the Bucks, right? It was
At the end of the game. It was actually pretty close. But at
What
the end of the
Billy
game,
Ball is now, if you haven't been watching the Bulls games, I can't. Again, that was the only Bulls game that I could actually watch.
YouTube
but just
TV
from, like,
now has a
looking at
subscription
stuff
for
of what I can see.
yeah, but you have to pay extra.
Billy Ball is essentially just move the ball, like move it in transition, plays zero defense. So there's no defense that's ever played. It's just move the ball and then you like get it out in transition, hit somebody in transition, and that's why like Josh Giddey was brought in because he could distribute, move the ball. But
I will say, Modest Buzelis looks pretty fucking solid.
did
That's
I tell you guys
silver
that-
in the time that they actually play him,
Yeah.
He finally had a 20-minute
just
game.
play Modest. Like
20-minute
why
game.
is that hard to figure out? Just play the rookie.
Finally
like,
had
he's
a 20-minute
good.
game.
He's good. Why are you not playing him?
Did I ever tell
It's
you
really
that he plays above
frustrating.
the rim? Because that dunk that he had the other night.
The
I don't know-
Raptors game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He can drive the ball.
He can.
He's
Can do
great.
it. And then they literally put him in. They demoted him to the
Yeah.
G League, and
Yeah.
he played one game and had like
Yep.
32 points.
Yep.
And they were like, yeah, we'll bring him back up. Okay.
So stupid.
But
It's so
maybe
stupid.
Give him some minutes in the actual games then? I don't know.
It's so aggravating.
It's always just this like, he's a rookie. He's got to prove himself. All right.
He
dude,
has.
Your team's ass to begin with. So, yeah.
God.
Just
Yeah, Reinsdorf can suck my chode. Yeah, it's frustrating. It's still early in the season, but I really don't see them doing anything.
no, that's
worth
not gonna be
talking
irrelevant.
about.
No.
It's just
No.
I mean, it's sad. Chicago sports right now.
Chicago
is
sports
just-
fucking
it's just-
suck.
It's just sad.
it's bad.
We have a #1 hockey player that's playing his ass off.
You've been watching a
Generational
lot of
talent.
Blackhawks, haven't you?
Also,
I haven't been watching that. I haven't watched a fucking
also
single
called a
Blackhawks
generational
game.
talent,
Yeah, also called generational talent.
and we'll
it's-
somehow fuck that up.
Yeah.
I don't even know hockey, but
Yeah.
we'll fuck it up. Come to Chicago, we'll fuck your generational talent up.
Come on by. So glad Pat Mahomes is on the Chiefs.
Speaking of which, yeah, anything we else? Chiefs are frauds, Ryan.
Oh, okay.
Chiefs are frauds.
Please elaborate.
Oh, anything else?
Chiefs are frauds.
Chiefs are the #1 fraudulent team in the NFL right now.
Yeah, they're gonna get exposed in the playoffs, dude.
Okay.
It's gonna be bad.
How
telling
many
you
more?
right now.
How many more penalties do you guys need until you'll be like, yeah, no, that's too many penalties. How many more?
I'll go ask my friend Pete.
Who's your friend Pete?
You haven't met him?
Pete Prisco,
No. Well,
writer for
that's his
CBS, who
last
probably
name.
Dick rides the
No,
Chiefs.
no. His last name's Pete. His first name's 3.
Oh, I get it.
You get it now.
I get it now. Yeah, you're not gonna 3-peat this year, man. That's a bad team. They're gonna get exposed in the playoffs.
Yeah, as soon as Isaiah Pacheco comes back, and who knows if we get Rasheed Rice.
Oh, so you do
be
need
great.
a running back because I recall
Buffalo Bills are a better team.
I recall a podcast that said it doesn't matter if you need a running back.
We're a different team in the playoffs. I'm not
No,
worried.
Okay.
no. The podcast was that you thought the Chiefs were good because of the running back position, and the argument was that the running game is facilitated by the
Yeah, I mean,
quarterback
I
play.
would, but 100%.
You could put any running back
no.
in there, as they've seen, and won. They're 9-1.
What I
and
said
any
was-
running back, you just
10 and
shuffle
1.
in there.
That's exactly what I
10 and
said.
1. They're
What I
10 and
said
1.
is you can put literally, this is what I said. You can put anybody in that backfield. Doesn't matter if it's Isaiah Pacheco. Doesn't matter if it's Clyde Edwards-Helaire. You can put anybody in that backfield, and if the running game is good, then you're going to win football games. That's what I said. And then you guys disagreed because you were like, Patrick Mahomes is the MVP.
No, you said that's how they beat you. That was the argument. Let me rephrase this. The way the Kansas City Chiefs beat you is by running the ball, is what you said. That's how they beat you, is with running the ball. That's how they beat you. That was the phrase that you used. 100% go look it up. That's how they beat you, is with running the ball. Go look it up. That's fine. I know you will.
Regardless, yeah, I probably will.
I know you
Yeah.
will. You said
I probably will.
that's how they beat you.
probably will.
And that's not how they beat you. It's with the fucking quarterback that's a generational talent.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying Patrick Mahomes is bad. Like, he's the GOAT.
All right, that's
Yeah.
fine. But the whole thing was that's how they beat you.
That is how they beat you, though. Because they can still run the ball. They can
Okay.
still run the ball.
So, take Patrick Mahomes off that team, and then you still have any running back back
No,
there, and that's
because-
how they beat you?
You had Patrick Mahomes in the backfield, dude. All right. So you're lined up in an I formation. You have Patrick Mahomes right here. You have a running back in the backfield. If Patrick Mahomes wants to do a play action pass, then he can do it. It's going to work. If he wants to run the ball, it's going to work because they're all keyed on Patrick Mahomes. I'm saying Patrick Mahomes is the best one on the team. I've never.
So you need a quarterback in order to be able to make that
No.
work.
you
But
just
it
saying
That's
that
not how they
because
beat
he's
you
in all the
then. It's with
commercials?
the quarterback is how they beat you then, is what you're saying.
You're not understanding what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't understand what you're saying. So.
We'll
I'm
get
saying if
Pete
the-
on next episode.
if
Someone
the
needs to
running
wear
game
the
is
clown
working.
nose. I don't know what's going on here.
If the running game is working, then use the running game, is what I'm saying.
Yep, you need a good running game.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's verbatim of what it is.
I'm not worried.
Do we need a defensive tackle?
You should be very worried.
I'm not
You
because
should be.
we're a different team in the playoffs, and we're gonna get people back, and it's gonna be just fine.
No,
Yeah.
I think the Chiefs are cooked.
By people, do you mean like the referee that just got Pops today.
It's funny. It's real funny. Yeah, Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes have nothing to do with the Chiefs' success. It's all the referees. All
right, I want to put you
womp,
on.
Womp, womp,
We need
Travis
to do one.
Kelce.
We need to do one after a Chiefs loss. We need to do one because they almost lost to the Carolina fucking Panthers. Ryan, you bring that energy into a playoff game.
Sure. I told all my friends last week. I was getting texts because they lost to the Bills, and I said it was a great loss, and it was because a few reasons.
Sounds stupid.
I'll tell you why. Number one,
I think it's dumb.
it was time for a loss. We almost went an entire year without
made a
losing,
record.
and you have to lose a game to remember what it's like to lose. Number two, it gives the Bills false confidence going into the playoffs. Number three, every time that we lose to the Bills in the regular season, we win the Super Bowl. So I'm really not worried.
Every time is in like just the last 2 years. That's your data sample.
2020.
That's your data sample is the last 2 years. And I'm gonna take.
There's 3 Super Bowls, and every time we
flawed.
lose,
They're flawed, Ryan. You should be very, very scared.
I'm not.
You should be very.
I'm not hitting the panic button.
You should
should
be
be
more
very
scared
scared.
than you are.
You're so scared.
I'm
Ryan.
not
You're
hitting the
scared,
panic button.
dude. You have to be a little bit scared.
I'm not at all.
Oh,
Ryan,
fine.
That's bad.
Ryan.
That's bad.
I'm good. I
All
can't
right,
wait.
but then when they
this is
lose
your
in the
last year.
playoffs, we need to jump on then.
Sure, sounds great.
All right.
Maybe
'Cause
next-
I don't think they're winning it this year.
Well,
And
yeah, they will.
the team that is like clear cut, that I will once again say that I was very wrong about, the Detroit Lions. There's no way, even if they get into the Super Bowl, that they're beating the Lions. The Lions are a.
Oh, they could beat the
great
Lions.
team.
They did beat the Lions this year.
Did they?
Yeah.
This year?
Second week. Oh no, I'm sorry.
No, that was last year.
That was
on
no.
some, like, bullshit
The
penalty.
Lions beat
Yeah.
them this year by 1 point. It was like the second week of the season. They lost to the Lions.
So they lost.
They've lost 2 games?
No, they
One.
lost one.
Oh.
Oh wait, no, we did beat the Lions. We beat the
Yeah.
Lions by 1 point. Week 2.
so.
I'm not worried.
All right, I would be. I would be. I
Okay.
would be.
You want me? To
I'm
be.
not worried
I
for
think
you.
it's more
I
of you
to
want me to be.
Right.
I want you to be a
It's-
little
that's
bit
what it
worried
is.
about it.
You
Ryan,
want me
it's-
to be.
It's much like our bet that we made for something else. I'm not worried. I'm not. I'm not worried because I know that the refs got you. So that's in good hands. But I want
yeah.
to see you happy. So I'm
Andy
happy
Reid,
for
like,
you.
Andy Reid might as well not even coach, right?
I've seen
Yeah,
you happy
no.
enough. I want to see you be mad now.
I'm happy for you,
Guys,
but just
I was
know
there
that
for this.
No, I've
that-
seen you
that the
happy enough.
penalty-
And I get it.
Oh,
I understand it.
happy
You've
enough.
seen the build, and you've got to live in the glory for a little bit, and now I don't like how much of the glory that you've gotten to live in, and I need you to get back down to earth and back down with us. I don't like that you have a
It's
backup
so
team.
fun.
I don't
It
like that
is
you have
so
a backup
fun.
team. You have a backup team where I got nothing. I have nothing else to live for other than
You
the
guys-
shitty, miserable Bears. You have this other backup organization, and I don't like that you have 2 teams that you can just kind of double dip on.
We have been friends since 1995.
Kyle's also
Right.
a Packers fan. Don't forget.
We have been friends for almost 30 years, and you've
Pack,
known I was a Chiefs fan, and you could have jumped on board, but you didn't want to because they were bad. And where did that get you guys?
Why would I just jump on because you're a
Because
fan?
we're 6 and 7 years old. You
Dude,
might
I
as
was
well
probably peeing in your mother's bed upstairs.
That's weird for people who don't know the context of that
Mom's
situation.
bed? That's not accurately described.
For you know what? I'm not even gonna give context to that.
Well,
You're gonna
hell
live
of
in
an
that.
ending to this
Yep.
one, huh?
Thanks everyone for joining us for
Hey,
this
thank you
episode of
guys.
Unbearable.
Love you all.
We'll see you on the next loss.
You take care.
Yeah. Right.
That's weird.
Do this again.